are new here, welcome to my channel. And for those who are part of the Wavy family, you already know this is part 2 of the Girl Talk Military Edition. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm still in the military, okay? Air Force to be exact. I have just about like 5 or 8 questions for part 2. First question is, how do I deal with leadership? So I didn't have like really bad flight chiefs or like head supervisors in my flight when I was working in security forces on flight. And especially now that I'm in the visitor control center, I really still don't have like any problems with my supervisors. Now, when it comes to like who should I like channel up my problems, it all depends on how big my problem was. Whether it was a family situation or I was just having a hard time of, dealing with my mental health, I would go to certain people for that. But if you guys do have a problem within your leadership at your job shop or your squadron or whichever you guys will call that in the military world, please channel that up through your chain of command, because you never know who will be able to support you even behind closed doors. Or sometimes people just go to the EO, which is like a equal opportunity office, and they do like a whole rundown and investigation about any circumstances that brings up to whether it's racism, sexism, or just plain old just like harassment, because a lot of times you don't have to deal with that alone, and there are people who are there to back you up and they are there to support you and help you, besides your chaplain or your commander or your mental health / therapist office. And a lot of the times people don't really like speaking to their leadership, so it's always good to have like another person that's outside of your job field, like that's like another higher ranking for you, because they can always give you some good insights or tips that you can follow when it comes to figuring out how to deal with any type of circumstances that you may have when it comes to your job, or when it comes to talking with your supervisors or your flight chiefs. How to deal with a toxic squadron / a work environment. So some of y'all who are in security forces or a military police worker, you guys know that like security forces can and will be toxic, no matter like how you want to put it. Whether your friends are involved with the toxic environment at the job or you have experienced it yourselves. I have dealt with some toxic environments with some of the co-workers, but they're not even there anymore. They don't even work for the Air Force anymore, so that kind of worked out on its own. But when it comes to dealing with that, I would say just keep focusing on yourself. Now, if the harassment or just you don't feel comfortable at all, or you don't feel safe at your job, please report that to anybody, whether it is your commander, your therapist, or someone that you know that you can trust, to let them know like, hey, I don't feel safe at work. I don't feel safe with the people that I'm working with, and they will run down what's next for you to do, whether they are going to take you out from that specific work schedule or they're just going to take you out from that entire job period, and they're going to retrain you if you decide to stay in the military, or they will give you the process to get out the military and give you that DD form 214, if you know what I'm saying. But I know that a lot of times people just hold that in with themselves, and that's not always good, because holding in those type of things, whether you brought it onto yourself or someone just keeps on harassing you at your job, or just a lot of coworkers are just being flat out just rude and they don't really focus on the job, they're focusing on you in a very like uncomfortable way, I would say still report that, and make sure you have a paper trail. I mean, document it. Like, when I tell you document, act as if you are sending this to HR in the civilian world, and you're writing down the times, the locations, where were you, who were you with, and just write down like a brief synopsis, like a 4 to 5 sentence paragraph about what happened and what was said, and document how inappropriate that situation was, along with yourself and the person who was speaking around with that conversation. Because as long as you document every little thing that you do, they can't say that you're lying, because who's gonna type up the specific like time, whether it was AM or PM, in a specific location where you had this interaction with this person or multiple people. So I would say make sure you document everything, and also make sure you keep yourself in check as well, because I know that sometimes people like to control other people's emotions, but always remember that you are in control of your own emotions. So don't ever let anyone belittle you on how you should or should not feel, because that's within yourself. Like, no one can control if you're feeling upset about a specific comment that felt inappropriate to you. And if you knew that that was inappropriate to you, it may feel inappropriate to others, and they just don't want to speak up. And that also goes along with how to deal with harassment. Now, I will say that I never dealt with harassment like in this situation where I'm in, where I feel like I'm getting harassed every day. I did deal with a specific person who was like trying to nitpick every little thing that I was trying to do, but I went up to his supervisor and I told him like, hey, this person, your specific coworker, is like bothering me for no reason, and I don't even talk to this person. Like, I don't even hang out with him outside of work. So I just thought that that was like inappropriate for him to harass me on certain things that I had no control over, whether it was something to do with our training or just the job as a security forces personnel as well. And also, harassment, try not to feed into that person that's harassing you. When I mean feed into it, I mean just, you know, be yourself. Just keep, I would say it's kind of hard to like tell you what to do when you're getting harassed, but all I can say is from my personal experience, document what happened, and if you have any witnesses, make sure that you name your witnesses as well with the interactions with that person that's harassing you. And when all comes down to it, either speak to their supervisor or speak to someone who's higher than their supervisor, because they will handle it. And you know, a lot of people don't like speaking to other people's supervisors or higher ups, but for me, if I feel like you're not handling the job, I'm gonna find someone else who can handle the job for you, whether they are higher ranking or not, because I don't tolerate people harassing myself or others when it comes to the job field, whether I'm in security forces, maintenance, services, whatnot. Like, I don't tolerate it, period. Following along with finding good mentors. So I've had about 2 or 3 good mentors, and they were not only, they were just Black, but they were also men and women. So I've had one of my flight chiefs, he was a really good mentor, and he also remembered me from BMT because he was an MTI instructor as well. And when I first got here to my first base, I was pretty shocked to see him, actually, because I'm surprised he actually remembered me. But you know, I had the same haircut, I didn't have any hair at the time, so it was not that hard to miss me, because you know, I'm the only one who has like a fade and some waves, you know what I'm saying, at that time. But he was really a good mentor. I was kind of sad that he had to move because he got orders to the other side of the United States, so that was kind of like a damper, but I still keep in touch with him from time to time. And another good thing when it comes to having mentors is that they don't have to be in the same work field that you're in. So a lot of times people don't even trust having a mentor that's in the same career field as you, because they can tell your whole business around the whole like squadron, and you're just like, hey, I thought I was able to trust you, I thought I was able to confide in you, but you broke that trust. So a lot of the times, I would say find someone that's a really good mentor outside of your career field. And a lot of the times, you will find some that are just either like around your local area, or what my base do is that we have adopted airmen where you get to be picked with another person who's like an NCO, whether they're a staff sergeant all the way up to a master sergeant for your enlisted side, or you can have an officer as your mentor. So basically, the higher ups, or like your NCOs or your officers, they will get to either choose who they want to mentor, or you get to choose who wants to be your mentor. And you just basically put down your name, what rank you are, and also what squadron you are from. So basically your job field. And they are just here to help you, whether you're dealing with some personal stuff or just how to, maneuver life with the military. Because I know that sometimes doing this like job field or just any job field in the military can be difficult. So it really is good to have a mentor by your side, and also letting that other person guide you if you want to stay in for 20 years. Because a lot of the times people don't even want to stay in the military, but a lot of the other times most people stay in is because they had a good mentor that actually provided them the tools to actually work on themselves and better themselves to be the best like military person that they can be. Another good question is, how do you find self-confidence and how do you focus on yourself? So I'm not gonna lie to you, finding your own self-confidence was a journey for me. I'm still on that journey, so I'm not even perfect, y'all, to be honest with you. So I take it one day at a time, so when it comes to self-confidence, like, I don't try to overthink it too much, like whether it's like dealing with my mental health or my work life or even just my personal life outside the military as a whole. I take it one step at a time, because I know that if I think about every little thing from the future instead of thinking about the presence right now, I'm going to get overwhelmed, I'm going to get flustered, and I'm going to get upset within myself, because I'm trying to figure out why am I not in this predicament that I want to be in when it hasn't even happened yet. So finding your self-confidence, not everyone's predicament looks really sweet. Like, the grass ain't always green on the other side, because they may be going through something that's way worse than what you're dealing with. And you might not want that for yourself on top of the stuff that you're dealing with personally. Don't worry about any other drama or gossip that's in your work field, because a lot of the times it's a bunch of nothing. And what service is that going to do for you if you're just feeding into it, or you just magically get yourself involved in it when it has nothing to do with you? Like, do you and forget the others, okay? Because last time I checked, you gotta live your own life. You can't be worried about what other people are doing if you're not even worried about yourself. So that's all I gotta say about that when it comes to focusing on yourself and having that self-confidence. Like I said before, having all of that together, it's not gonna happen overnight. Like, it's something that you gotta work for. It's something that you actually have to want for yourself. So at the end of the day, you're only human. Everyone makes mistakes, and you're not the first or the last person to make mistakes when it comes to being in the military as well. What's it like having a spiritual relationship, or do you have a spiritual relationship? So in terms of that question, I'm not really a religious, heavy, hard hitting, hey, you need to join my religion right now, because we're not really supposed to do that in the military. That's actually illegal to do that in the military. But I do have a spiritual, thing with myself. I still believe in Christianity. I'm not a hardcore you need to read the Bible every day and learn these scriptures right now. No, because I would not like that if someone did that to me 24/7. I could not. That would overwhelm me every time I see that person. So I still go and do my own thing when it comes to reading my own scriptures, writing, having my own little Bible study. And I did find a church here locally, so I really like that church a lot, and they've actually welcomed me. I feel like there's some sort of church environment that feels welcoming. I don't feel like everyone's outcasting me or anything like that. So having a spiritual relationship for myself, that's been feeling pretty good, because I haven't been reading the Bible as much, but I'm glad that I'm actually taking little steps every day to read into it, getting to know the word more, and actually praying more, because it's actually giving me a more peace of mind within myself in terms of my mental health. And the journey is a little bit rocky, but I just know that God is bringing me a more fruitations within my life, and I know that there's nothing I can't handle without having Him by my side. So I feel like that's really a good place for me to be in right now. I feel more peacefulness within myself, and also I actually feel like I can be more confident within myself. So like going back to like having that self-confidence, like a lot of the times most people feel alone, but you know, having that spiritual relationship in whichever faith you believe in, whether it's Christianity or not, it's always good to have some type of spirituality in your beliefs, whether you don't go to church that often, but you still read the religious books that you want to read into. Do I believe in going to college and the military? Yes. It does not have to be the major that your job field is, but use that tuition assistance. I believe you get like $4,200, around that range, for tuition assistance for like that whole fiscal year. So get that degree, okay? And if not, want to wait and get out the military and use your GI Bill, go for it. You are allowed to actually get any type of certifications, any type of degrees, whether it's an AA degree, an AS degree, a bachelor's degree. I do believe that they do pay for some master degree programs. It depends on what your career field is. And also, don't be afraid to step out the box and get those college education credits, because you never know what could happen when it comes to being in the military and getting out the military, because it's a whole different realm when it comes to being a civilian instead of being a military person. But get that education, get as many college credits as you can, in my opinion, whether you're taking them in class, college classes, or you're taking them online, or you're just clapping them where you're taking a test of a certain credit, and if you pass, you get the whole 3 or 4 credits and you go on about your day. And the last question, how do I have a life outside the military? I keep work and my personal life separate. Like, I don't bring my work to my house. Like, as soon as I take off that uniform, I'm who I am, okay? I am not in the military no more. I'm who I am. I'm in my home. I don't have to worry about dealing with the Air Force at that moment. I get to be my true self, okay? I get to still be Wavy A, all right? And it's just, you know, I just don't bring my work at home. I don't even talk about it when I'm at home. I don't even talk about it like with my family, with my friends. The only time I ever talk about it is if they ask me like, how am I feeling, like how is work going? But other than that, I just keep that separate. Like, I do hang out with some people that I do work with or that I used to work with, but do we ever talk about work? Heck no. We do not want to hear nothing about what the Air Force is telling us what to do at that moment, okay? I make sure that I'm gonna have fun and I'm going to enjoy my well-being when it comes to having a life outside the military. Now, I don't go crazy and do no drugs or nothing, okay? I don't be partying every night, every time I get off work. No, because that is impossible. Like, I can't even do that no more. I'm 25 years old. I cannot be partying and drinking every night and then expect to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning and go to work at 9. No, that's not my job, okay? So having a life outside the military is important. It not only is good for your mental health, it's also just good for your personal being, because having a life outside the military, you don't have to, you know, think about what you gotta do like tomorrow. You can worry about it tomorrow, okay? Think about living your life in the now, okay? Like, don't just overstress yourself on what you got to do, because once you're at home, there's nothing you can do when it comes to work like that. Make sure you do have a life outside of the military, whether it's finding a hobby, whether you're going out to little concerts and festivals in your local area, or having a YouTube channel. I had a YouTube channel before I joined the military, but I just now started taking it seriously when I officially joined the military in 2019. Because I had nothing else to do when it came to getting off of work in the military. So I figured, why not have a YouTube channel and just have this own little hobby where I'm in my own little world, and I don't have to think about, you know, what I gotta do when I wake up in the morning, and just, you know, have fun and record videos all day on my off. Another thing you can do outside your military life is working out. A lot of people don't really like working out because it reminds them of the military, but some people just use that as an escape, and you know, that's them. But I like to hang out with my friends. I like to go out to eat. I like to sometimes occasionally drink, okay, but not too much. I'll probably have like a little like, I don't know, some little fancy drink that you get from Applebee's or whatever them little margaritas things are called. But I do like to have fun, spend time with my friends and family, and also just make sure that I'm around the people that actually support me and love me. Because if you're around people who don't give two craps about you and you're not at work, then you need to reevaluate yourself and think about how I need to change up who is within my circle. Because that's one thing that's really important, is having a support group outside the military. Because sometimes you don't want to hear about military stuff with the people that support you in the military. You want someone that's outside of that military circle so that you could get like another like input about reality in life. Because yeah, I'm in the military, but the military doesn't evolve around my life 24/7. Like, I have a whole different life outside of my military life, if that makes sense for y'all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this part 2 of this girl talk, and do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment any questions you have when it comes to the military, because I will definitely answer them for you. We are so close to hitting that 1,000 subscriber goal, y'all. I can't wait to have 1,000 of you guys with me along this journey. And I also can't wait to do this giveaway for you guys. We recently hit 900 in October. We're gonna keep this ball rolling, okay? So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all in the next video, you guys.
Said I'll be going down. Oh.